In the aftermath of everything coming out with my ex being outed by his mistress slash baby mom, I was in a whirlwind of what felt like darkness for a couple weeks. And the one thing that I kept saying is why. I could not wrap my mind around why a man, right? When I took it back to the beginning, how we met, how he pursued me, how he was relentless in getting me to marry him. I was like, why would a man go this far? Why? And just to turn around and do this, like it just did not make sense. It felt definitely like the ultimate betrayal. It was more than just cheating. Like he had a whole nother side relationship. And again, I had been telling him for a while because I suspected him of cheating. I had been telling him, let's just figure this out in a peaceful way so we can move on with our lives because I was clear in knowing that he was not faithful to me, right? I didn't have the proof until the letter came in the mail. But prior to me getting the proof, I was trying to do things in a peaceful, amicable way with him because I just have that belief that if you don't want to be with me, let's just move on. I don't believe in holding on to someone who doesn't want you or who doesn't want me, I should say. I don't believe in holding on to a man who doesn't want me. I just never believed that. So I didn't understand why he let it go this far. And so I kept asking why. And nothing, the more I asked why, the less anything made sense. And so I kind of stayed in that place, just replaying everything because once you realize that you've been betrayed in that way in a marriage, every memory becomes tainted, everything. And especially once I had gone online and seen certain information, it was really like, what is going on? Am I in the twilight zone? It really just, it was such a weird feeling. And again, it just had me in a very, very dark place. And I knew that this was a part of what I had to go through because this was a part of my healing journey. But I still was, my mind was just still trying to make sense of everything. And so during that process, I had a moment where it was like, I kept saying, what is this about? Why? And it was like the light came on. And I realized that this was just a test in my life. And that unfortunately, the man that I married was a pawn in the devil's game, right? The devil's motive intent is never changes. It's kill, steal, and destroy. And the man that I was married to had opted into the devil's game. And whether he did it intentionally, meaning whether he understood that was his role or didn't understand, like that's between him and his God. But I know for me, when I realized that he was just a pawn in a game, the light came on. And I just said, oh, okay, I see what this is. This is way more spiritual than this is physical. Yeah, he did physical things that have manifested in a physical world, but this was a spiritual thing for me personally. And I just made up in my mind that I'm not going to allow the devil to win. This man was purposely placed in my life to test me, to change the core of who I am as a woman, maybe to make me turn my back on God. But again, the enemy's job is to kill, steal, destroy. And I believe that was his only purpose, why he did everything he did. It was so interesting down the line when I asked him why. I just wanted to hear it from his mouth. Like, why did he go that route? He had no words. He had no words, no explanation, no rhyme, and no reason. And so that was very telling to me as well. But once I realized this was just a spiritual battle that I was going through, that just so happened to include the man that I was married to as the bad actor in my life, my posture changed. And I just said, the devil won't win. I don't know. That stubbornness about myself just kicked in. The devil won't win. And I know I can say this in hindsight. It eats your enemy up when you don't let them win, when you don't let them make you go there, when you don't let them take you into that dark place. Because I really believe that there was a desire to see me crash out. I know there was a desire to see me wig out as a result of what my ex did. And I didn't give him the satisfaction. And that just feels so sweet in my soul. I did not give the devil the satisfaction. But that's how I was able to forgive the man I was married to, because I understand he was just a pawn. He was just a pawn. Although a willing pawn, he was just a pawn in a game being played on my life. And I'm just not going to let the devil win. And that helped me tremendously going through my healing process, right? Just understanding the spiritual aspect of what was happening at that moment as the truth was beginning, I stress, beginning to be uncovered about the man that I was married to. And so that's just something that I went through in my journey of becoming a healed wife.